Welcome to Living the Smarter Science of Slim, where we provide a scientifically proven lifestyle for long-term health and fat loss by eating more and exercising less, but smarter.
Eat smarter, exercise smarter, live better. I am so ready for that.
Hey everyone, Jonathan Baylor and Carrie Brown coming at you with another Living the Smarter Science of Slim podcast. Carrie, how are you today?
I am awesome, Mr. Baylor.
Carrie, I have some positive feedback for you.
Woohoo!
My dear wife recently has shouldered the burden of all of the green smoothie making in our house because I've been quite underwater with the dual job and new book finalizing. So she now spends her Sundays blending and cutting vegetables, and she needed something to take her mind off that. So she started listening to, she has big headphones to kind of cancel out the noise of the Vitamix, and she started listening to every single one of our podcasts, so back to back from episode 1, because believe it or not, she hadn't really listened to them. And she comes with me, she goes, Jonathan, Carrie is just a delight.
Oh.
Like, she is just so much fun on your podcast. So there you go. Props to you.
Yay!
Yay!
Thank you, Angela.
Well, Carrie, I know you had some questions about breakfast.
Oatmeal.
And?
Tell us about oatmeal.
Something, just my emotional feelings about oatmeal.
Let's start there and see where it goes. How do you feel about oatmeal, Jonathan?
Oatmeal has always been an ironic one for me because it's like the texture of it is one. I mean, so let me just back up. There seems to be quite a few people that are fans of oatmeal.
I'm a huge oatmeal fan. I grew up on porridge.
Yeah, but if
brown
you take a
sugar, cream.
Anyway, well, I won't get into my own personal opinions about oatmeal, but I'll start off by saying that, as Carrie has said on numerous occasions, that her sane version of oatmeal is the, I believe, single most popular
recipe
Okay.
ever on my blog.
And so the reason I bring that up is because obviously, like, that is going to be the sanest oatmeal option we can have, right? Is Carrie's intentionally sanitized version of oatmeal. But sometimes people get confused. They're like, how can oatmeal not be sane? Like, aren't steel cut oats healthy? Remember that healthy is relative, right? Healthy is always relative. If you're choosing between eating a bowl of sugar cereal and a bowl of steel cut oats, the steel cut oats
Ding, ding, ding.
are the healthier option.
Oats every time.
Oats every time. But if you're eating a bowl of oats instead of maybe a delicious frittata, which is going to have wonderful healthy fats from your eggs, a lot of delicious protein, very satisfying protein, and mixed with a bunch of nutrient-dense, hormonally healing vegetables, and maybe some berries. I mean, it's not in the frittata, but on the side.
Thank goodness you said that.
Don't throw your berries in your eggs. So remember, it's just a spectrum, right? Like, just because one thing is better than another thing makes it better, and that's good, but it doesn't make it optimal. And again, if our goal is not to be optimal, someone says to me, can I eat oatmeal? Yes. Oatmeal is not, I don't know if anyone ever died because of an oatmeal overdose, right? But if you are not getting to where you want to go and you're eating oatmeal, then I would recommend that being a place to start sanitizing a little bit.
Awesome.
Make sense?
And a great place to start is on my blog.
Yes.
With my sane porridge.
And remember, a lot of this talk about oatmeal, personal story, Angela's getting blown up in this podcast. Angela's my dear wife. She had genetically high cholesterol, and her physician recommended to her to eat oatmeal, and she had done that for a while, and it did lower her LDL cholesterol and her HDL cholesterol. Lowering your HDL cholesterol is probably the worst thing you could ever do for your heart health. That said, she then transitioned to a sane lifestyle, raised her HDL cholesterol good, and dropped her LDL lower than it had ever been. And then also did all the other more important things like triglycerides and yada, yada, yada. So again, it's always, Carrie put it best when she said it's about progress, not perfection. But also understand that progress isn't perfection. And if you want to continue to progress along the results continuum, you will also need to progress on the sanity continuum. Right?
And of course it depends what your goals are and where you are on your journey. You know, if you're just starting out, you probably want to be saner. When you're further down the road, or when you've reached the your body is the way you want it to be, then if you have oatmeal once in a while, it's not going to affect you in the same way.
Exactly, and you may even find too that, well, Carrie, it's hard because you've done. There's very few excuses, right? Like if the reason I like oatmeal is because of the consistency and the warm, kind of nutty flavor, I can get that from your same recipes.
Yes, you can.
So, I mean, for someone to say, I mean, if I were to splurge, it wouldn't be on oatmeal. Let's put it that way. It would be on something else. If I'm going to take in a bunch of sugar, which is essentially what oatmeal is, because I don't care where it's coming from. When it leaves your stomach, it's glucose. I can think of other ways to get my sugar than oatmeal. Let's put it that way.
Each to their own, Mr. Baylor. Each to their own.
Each to their own. So, again, oatmeal is a better option than probably, 75% of normal Westerners eat for breakfast. Does that mean it's sane? No.
Awesome.
Love it.
Oatmeal in depth. Thank you, sir.
Oatmeal 101. Carrie.
Yes, Jonathan.
Acne and hormones are making me break out.
Oh.
Not me personally. This is a question.
I was going to say, I'm looking real close here, and no.
So, I wanted to talk about acne. Carrie, what are your thoughts on acne and eating?
Unfortunately, I am not experienced in this department. I'm very, very lucky that that's never been... I remember when I was like 13 getting one spot zit and thinking my life was over, but luckily that was like the first and last one. So,
yep.
Not experienced in that area, I'm afraid.
So the good news is when it comes to acne, when it comes to vision, when it comes to hearing, people ask me questions all the time, Carrie, like, I have this wrong with me. Will eating sanely help me? I've got this. Will eating sanely help me? Anytime there's anything wrong with our body, that's because like something is broken down, right? I mean, like if something's wrong with your car, the reason there's something wrong with your car is something with your car is broken down. So therefore, if you take steps to make your car run better, that symptom, like that crack in the windshield or the fact that your brakes are squeaking, will get better.
They
right?
are. How did you know?
So acne is a symptom, right? Acne is a symptom. A sore throat is a symptom. They're symptoms of some underlying disturbance in your body. Going sane gives your body more of what it needs to heal anything that's wrong with it, and less of the things that would exacerbate. That's what's wrong with it. So, for any symptom you see, what you put in your body has a dramatic influence on whether or not that symptom will continue and get worse, or discontinue and start to get better.
True. However, one of my very favourite people in the world was plagued with the most horrible case of acne about 3 months into her first pregnancy. Mm-hmm. Literally, her face was just entirely red and pustulated. I've never seen anything like it. And that poor girl tried everything. And she went sane. And this went on, so her baby is now 18 months old. And we tried everything. Mm-hmm. She went sane. It did help, but it didn't make it go away. Mm-hmm. But literally 3 days after she stopped breastfeeding, her face cleared up.
Wow.
My point of telling you is that going sane helped, but sometimes recognise that there may be some hormonal, particularly for women, some hormonal thing going on that nothing is going to stop other than your body just coming out of that phase.
Absolutely, yeah. Please don't hear "go sane" and all of life problems go away. That is
right. That was my point of telling that story.
But certainly, it can't hurt.
It definitely helped, but the actual problem, and literally, it was like day and night. 3 days after she stopped breastfeeding, it all cleared up.
Absolutely.
And it was joyous. But,
absolutely.
Just if there's any women out there that are thinking this is a magic bullet, there are cases where, crazy female hormones are going to win out.
Yes, there is, sadly, no magic bullet. Because even when we talk about how a sane lifestyle could benefit acne. Again, remember, it's not like acting directly on it's not like you take sane foods and rub it on your acne and it makes
Right.
it go away. Rather, it just puts the body in a state where the body, if it's able to fight off this invader, it will be more able
Right.
to now. But it's still like, if you have stage 4 cancer, eating more vegetables is not going to make the cancer just go away. Right.
Right.
So we can only do as much as we can do. Speaking of what we can do, I got a question, Carrie, which is it possible? Can we overeat while going sane? Like, is it possible to eat too many calories while being sane?
Yes. Yes, it is. If you're eating, I don't want to say, my brain wants to say the wrong things, but of course if you're eating sane it's not wrong, but what I'm trying to say
In
is
the wrong order?
if you're eating 75% protein and 25% veggies, even though it's all sane, you're going to be intaking way more calories in the protein than you are in the veggies. Even though we don't focus on calories,
Yep.
that still is going to make a difference.
Yeah.
Was that the right answer?
Well, it's and this isn't new. I mean, it's nuanced. The challenge here, right, folks, is that we all over anything, right? Like, you can drink too much water, right? Like, you never want to.
I will never have that problem.
You never want to eat excessively, right? Anything in excess is not good by definition. So, Carrie got really, really close to being spot on, and that's if you ate sanely in the proper order, meaning the food you're every time you eat, you're eating predominantly non-starchy vegetables, followed next in terms of volume. This is in terms of volume by nutrient-dense protein, and then you're adding in whole food fats and low fructose fruits. If you're doing that, it is nearly impossible to overeat calories because it would just be your stomach would explode before the volume of food. Like, those foods are so large
Right.
that you just can't fit 3,000 calories of veggie. Not that you would eat exclusively spinach, for example.
I don't know. I've eaten 6 pounds in the last 4 days.
Well, no, that's all good. But you couldn't eat 6 pounds of spinach in one day. Like, you physically could not. It would. Well, maybe you could. I don't know. 20 pounds of spinach is still under the amount of calories that would make someone obese, and it's physically impossible to eat that much. So, is it possible? Yes. Is it possible to overdrink water? Yes. Should you worry about it? No, not really.
But don't eat 10 pounds of almonds in one sitting.
That's the key thing, right? And that's so just like Carrie said early on, and that was spot on, is just because it's sane, right? And it's always a spectrum, right? It's a
Right.
sanity spectrum. 0 on the sanity spectrum is processed sugar, right? Like, oatmeal is probably a 3, right? And then above, like, beans are probably like 4 or 5, and then you move up the spectrum, and then you've got something like an almond, which is going to be higher, but not as high as cocoa or coconut due to the, healthier fats you're going to find in cocoa or coconut, which is not going to be as high as wild-caught Alaskan salmon, which is not going to be as high as kale. So if you're focused on the far end of that spectrum, where you're focused on the kale and the salmon and all that kind of good stuff,
You can't. It's hard to overeat.
it's nearly impossible. But if as you slide down that spectrum, it gets easier and easier to overeat. And remember, we're not saying that calories don't count. We're saying that you don't need to count calories.
Right.
It's a different thing, right? If
Right.
you just were to eat vegetables and then drink 10,000 calories of melted butter, you would gain fat.
Right.
Good thing you won't do that. So don't worry about it, right? So yes, it is absolutely possible to overeat. However, this is a lifestyle in which overeating is uncomfortable. And when you have a lifestyle where it's painful to do that which hurts you and pleasurable to do that which helps you, that's when magic happens.
However, if you do want to eat large quantities of spinach, I just posted a recipe for baked cream spinach, sane baked cream spinach,
Yep.
and I tell you, that stuff is the bomb, even though I say so myself. And this comes from a former spinach hater. And I ate 4 pounds of that over the weekend.
Yep.
And it was awesome.
And
so if you need more veggies, that's a very good way to do it.
And really, Carrie, that eating more veggies, eating a lot of food, focusing on where we are on that sanity spectrum is really important. I had a recent example where I, just to be polite, like really, I had to do this in a social situation. Like I really don't enjoy eating insane food. It bothers me, obviously, given the position that I'm in. But it would have been very socially inappropriate to not at least try this insane food given the context I was in. So I tried it, and it was it was amazing, right? It was delicious. And I knew, like, at that point, after taking that bite, like, it was so easy for me to not eat any of it, right? Like, what I didn't know, I'm fine. But then when I ate it, I was like, I want to eat all of that now.
That's because
all of it.
What was it?
What? Well, I can't secret.
Oh, okay. But it probably, because I've been reading about this addiction and insane food, although they don't call it that in the studies, but insane food makes your addictive areas in your brain light up.
Yeah, opioid receptors. Yep.
So, and there we are. See,
Well,
even the Baylor is not immune.
No.
It was like his brain was going, woohoo, let's go.
No, the reason I bring that up, Carrie, is the idea of, like, if you eat the right kinds of foods, you won't want to overeat. Like, you are literally compelled. You are neurologically compelled to continue to eat when you eat insane foods, not only because they don't satisfy you, but also because of what they're doing neurologically. You will never, if you want to learn more about this, it's called food palatability. A researcher out of the University of Washington named Stéphane Guyenet has a brilliant blog about this. While, like, for example, salmon is delicious, right? Most people have salmon, it's delicious, quite delicious. Or if you're baked spinach, delicious. But you don't, like, it doesn't cause this, like, visceral, animalistic, like, oh my God, I just have to eat, like, 2 pounds of salmon. Whereas you eat some fudge, and you're like, I ate a pound of fudge. I want a second pound of fudge. Right? Like, you just don't get that feeling when you eat sanely. So the idea of, like, can I overeat when I eat sanely? When you're eating optimally sanely, you will feel so satisfied. It's almost like imagine being in a relationship with another person that is so satisfying that you're not like, wow, it's hard to not cheat on them. It's not hard. Why would you cheat on them? There's no what? Like, it's the same kind of way with sanity. I feel you're not driven to overeat. There's no motivation to.
Right. No, I have had that exact same experience with food. When I eat sane, the cravings are gone. I don't want to overeat. But the second I put one Pringle in my mouth, and it is all over.
And it's a cool experience in a sense that I don't think we realize just how powerful of drugs these edible products are until you can extract yourself. Like, until you can feel what it feels like to not be in the grips of these things, and then you, like, dip a toe in the water. Like, it's like you've been in cold water your whole life, and then you don't really realize how cold it is, and you get out, you dry off, and you dip a toe, and you're like, good Lord, that's cold.
Right.
Same kind of thing here is, if you don't think sugar's addictive, stop eating sugar, see how easy that is, and then try to eat it again.
Right.
And you'll be like, oh, yep, that's like an alcoholic who tried to give up alcohol.
Really. So last night, I had cravings for sour cream and onion Pringles. I mean, I was going out of my mind. I didn't have any because my house is completely sane. I was going out of my mind.
Oh, no.
And so I made my cheesy biscuits.
Yeah.
And I'm growing chives in the garden, and I threw a whole bunch of fresh chives in there, and I made these cheesy chive biscuits, and I had one, and I was perfectly fine.
Yeah.
Had I gone to the store and bought that tube of Pringles, the entire tube would have gone, and I would not have been able to stop once I started.
Absolutely.
One cheesy chive scone, and I was fine. My brain calmed down. I was full. It was all goodness.
And literally think about that, Carrie, because you could, like, a tube of Pringles, it probably has a few thousand calories in it.
Don't ask me to ever look, because
but my point
I will
is,
cry for a week.
Like, just think about that for a second, folks. You can eat thousands of calories of a substance, and your body says, I want more. Like, that is an abnormal response for the body. Like, you eat 1,000 calories of sane food, your body will be like, stop. What are you doing? Like, I don't know. And in fact, Carrie, I've had a bit of it's almost like a split personality with food and appetite in my brain at times, because I've been like, I feel like I'm craving something, but I'm too full to really want it. If that makes any sense at all.
It totally does. You should see me with a tube of Pringles. It's insane. I mean, literally, it's just like I cannot stop eating them until they're gone. Yeah. And yet I'm not even enjoying it.
Yeah. No,
but
absolutely.
I mean, it's crazy. Anyway, I got through it last night with my cheese and chive scone.
Well, we started the podcast talking about sanitizing oatmeal, and now we've seen how we can sanitize cravings for cheesy, chivy Pringles or whatever they were.
Sour cream and onion, but yes.
There we go. So we can sanitize it all. Well, Carrie, we've talked about oatmeal, we've talked about acne, we've talked about freeing ourselves from the desire to overeat. How are you feeling?
Awesome.
Feeling good?
Yes.
Are you going to bring me in some of those cheesy, chivy biscuits?
I could have bought you one today. What was I thinking?
I don't know.
I don't know what I was thinking. Bad Carrie.
Next time.
Bad Carrie.
Next time.
Next time.
Speaking of next time, listeners, we look forward to seeing you next time. And remember, this week and every week after, eat smarter, exercise smarter, and live better. Ciao with you soon.
See ya.
Wait, don't stop listening yet. If you like the podcast and if there's other ways we can help you, please join us in the Smarter Science of Slim support group, which is freely available at the Smarter Science of Slim website, smarterscienceofslim.com. There you'll find all kinds of free recipes and success stories and just all kinds of fun stuff, like how to help your kids go sane and just great community content.
And just one last thing before you go, if you wouldn't mind heading over to iTunes and up onto Amazon.com and leaving us a review, and then going over to Facebook and liking us, we would hugely appreciate it.